Good morning. It's Thursday, time for our Thursday chat. I'm Annette of Annette's Needles, and I'm just going to vlog about what I'm doing today. First off, the yarn that I was doing last week that I had a little bit of a problem with is all done. There was 15 ounces, but it was a big mass of tangles. I think I spent 2, 4, 5, about 6 hours just sitting and unwinding. For me, that's relaxing. I don't know if it is for you, but this is what I ended up getting. I'm hoping I can put it right there. Maybe it'll end up over there. It depends on my editing capabilities. So that is done, and I'm very happy that that is done. So that's taken up a lot of the time that I had in this room this week. I did finish a stitchery project that, of course, I don't have right next to me to show you. But today I am going to put the border all around the back of the strip we made the last couple weeks. And I'm gonna take this yellow fabric, gonna cut it down about 35 inches, I am not very specific on some of these because it doesn't need to be. And then I'm gonna sew that strip in. It'll lengthen it enough for me to be able to baste the back to the batting to the front. So I'm looking forward to getting this Bargello quilt all ready to quilt, and I will show you my progress at the end. When I mentioned about not being specific, you know, there's been a lot of talk about quilt police. I know you've heard of the quilt police. They are defunct, they've gone bankrupt. But when I first started learning to quilt in the late 80s, I mean, we did patchwork. My mom taught me to sew. We did all kinds of stuff, didn't call it patchwork or quilting. But when I learned to quilt, man, there were specific rules. The same with cross stitch. There were specific rules, and you had to adhere to them or you felt like you were doing something wrong. Even the quilting at that time, in the early 90s when I started teaching, we learned hand quilting because machine quilting was like the cheater's way. My camera's dipping. I'll try to tighten it up. Just give me a second here. Okay, we'll leave it there and let it slide down. Anyway, I think I was the quilt police with my students. I would explain to them, oh no, those points are not pointy enough. You need to unpick that and take it out. I don't do that anymore. My standards have lowered. Have yours? Do you still try to, of course we want to make our points look nice, but I'm not totally worried like I was at one time. I don't plan to show my quilts in shows. I've entered one in a non-juried show and I had so much fun doing that. But I don't need the pressure of having everything perfect to put in a show. And when I quilt it now, I quilt on my mid-arm, my Sweet 16, and it's good enough. Oh, and I made a big blooper last week that I didn't show you. I'll put a picture of here. You can see my Sweet 16 right there is sitting on a table. Well, that table has a slider that's the size of the table that sits over the formica of the table. So I have my little iron sitting on my TV tray. Oh, you can kind of see the bubble in the coating, in the layer on top. Well, I set my iron on its little silicone above so I'd have more room so I didn't have to get up and use my real ironing board. It bubbled, it underneath. When I picked it up, it wanted to pull up on the layer, that slider, and it's just all bubbled. It's not repairable. I thought, well, maybe I could heat it down, but you can't. So before I quilt next, I'm going to have to take that off, and maybe I'll just use my little pink Supreme slider that I used to use before I had that. But that was disappointing. That was an expensive blooper. But anyway, back to the quilt police. I don't follow any guidelines. Now I do what I want to do because it's more fun that way. Yes, I'll watch a YouTube here and there, and I might put some on here, but it's time for me to Zoom with my quilty sisters, with my Zoe-sisters. We started Zooming during the pandemic, and because Zoom was new to us, we called ourselves the Zooming Zoe-sisters. Now we're the Zoe-sisters, and kind of a little private group, and it's just fun. So I'm going to meet with them, then I'm going to get started here. And I'll talk to you later, show you the results. Okay, bye.
Okay, so I have a quick little video to put in here of how I put the bordered block strip into the yellow fabric, just to kind of make it not be wavy. Sometimes maybe you've put on a long border and it's been a little wavy. Well, this is how you can prevent that. So watch this for just a few minutes. So I've sped this up so you don't have to watch for hours, but this is the way I make sure they match up together smoothly when with such a long strip, so I don't get waves or bubbles in it. You saw me fold it in half and I put a pin there, and then I fold the half in half and put a pin in each of the fourths. So now it's pinned at the half and at the fourths. I already did that with that piece of the yellow fabric that I want to sew it to. So now what I need to do is just match up the pins. That way you get a smoother finish, because inevitably one stretches a little more than the other, or maybe you're overall a 1/4 inch off of your measurements from cutting because I measured down the middle of the strip instead of on the end of the strip. I just want it to all be as smooth as possible. So I mark it every fourth, pin it at the ends, and then I smooth out and kind of pin in between the pins to make sure if there is any bulk on either side, it all smooths out. So I did that, and then I took it over to the sewing machine and I sewed it on. Then I repeated that on the other side. So that's how I did it, and it's all done. I'm going to put a picture up here of the back, and I'm very pleased it's done. That was my goal, to have the back done by the end of the month. So I finished that project, and I'm very happy about that. Another project I didn't really show you last week was a project bag that I made. So this is the project bag. It was some Downton Abbey fabric that I had. So, oh, I have to hide my face or the camera wants to find me. And then this is the back of it. But I love keeping my projects in here. I don't know if you could see, but I embroidered Proverbs 31:13 there about the wife that likes to do work with her hands. And I just really enjoy using a project bag, especially for my embroidery projects, my counter cross stitch, etc. So that is another one of my finishes for the this month, and I'm so happy about that. So, okay, I hope that you have enjoyed our chat, because I did, and we'll chat again next week. Okay, signing off, Annette of Annette's Needles. Go home and stitch.